Hi everybody, thanks for coming back. It's good to see you again. I'm drinking out of this beautiful handmade mug today, and I have tea going, and it is David's Tea Frosted Cereal, which is actually really good. It's kind of strange, but it's perfect for a day like today. It's like kind of cool out, but the sun's trying to poke out. I've got good light for recording, so I'm really happy about that. Yes, hello, hi, my name is Laura. This is my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called iHeartKnitting, and this is where I'm going to be sharing just different crafty things that I'm up to, and excuse me, as well as some things that I sell in my Etsy shop. So if you want to find me on the rest of the internet, I'll have links down below this video, but you can search me out on Instagram. My handle is iheartewe, E-W-E, and that is the same name of my Etsy shop. And on Ravelry, I am ihearteweknits. And so this is, my channel, which is called iHeartKnitting. So this is episode 5. I already told you my name. My name is Laura, and I'm coming to you from BC, Canada, the West Coast. And I'm a big knitter. I do a little bit of other crafting, but at the moment I've just been doing a lot of knitting. So that's what I have to talk to you about today. Let's see here. I have some notes. So just wanted to say thank you if you're, coming back. It's really great to see repeat views, and I'm really, really encouraged by all the comments and the subscriptions. I really, really appreciate all the feedback from everybody who has been commenting, and I just wanted to say thank you for that and for coming back again. We've just hit 2,000 subscribers, I believe, which is really, really shocking and exciting for me. So I wanted to do a coupon code for my Etsy shop. So I'll tell you about that a little later. And I have a coupon code as well that somebody has donated to the podcast as well. So that's really exciting. We can talk about that. So yes, thank you for coming back again. If this is your first time, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. I'm very casual about this, but we're just going to chat about our knitting, and I'll just share what's going on in my life. It's been pretty quiet so far this week. I've just been working a lot and stocking up things in the shop. I did a whole bunch of lavender pouches because they've been really popular. And we are getting ready for Halloween, which isn't really going to be much of anything this year. My husband is on the volunteer fire department, and so I think he said that they're going to be maybe like setting up a distance table or something for kids who are trick-or-treating, but it's going to be pretty low-key this year. So yeah, I've just been concentrating on working and getting together with one or two friends and that sort of thing. So it's been nice. Fall is a great time to kind of get back inside in BC and just enjoy all those things, all those indoor things, knitting and watching movies maybe, or I've been listening to audiobooks and watching podcasts and things on YouTube. So yeah, I have the Cal going, the knit along on Instagram. So that's the Halloween knit along. We are almost finished. It's going to be finished on Halloween night, October 31st. So what you can do is you can post your sock project, your work in progress, or your finished object. And, tell me why it's Halloweeny, or if it feels like Halloween to you, that's fine. So your sock work in progress or a finished object shot. And so every unique post that you do with that hashtag on your Instagram is going to give you one entry. So I'm going to be giving some yarn away. That's really exciting to see everybody's projects. It's been really inspiring. And I'm really happy to also announce that there is a pattern designer who's contacted me. They contacted me and want to donate a few patterns. So there's going to be some PDF patterns, which means that with my prize that I will be mailing out, the physical prize, and then there's going to be 3 patterns given away. That's 4 chances to win out of that entry thread. So yeah, so your odds just quadrupled with this generous donation. So I want to talk to you about that. The designer's name is Beatrice, and their handle is Samba Knits, and they are from South America. I believe they're from Chile, and really, really beautiful patterns. I hadn't heard of Samba Knits before, but I just checked out their shop on Ravelry, and they have some really beautiful things. Some things that stood out to me are some of her sweaters. There's one called Noguera, which is really, really beautiful. It has kind of like a lace texture detail on the yoke. And then there's another one called the Miel sweater, which is a colorwork sweater that's really beautiful. So I definitely recommend checking out Samba Knits. They have very generously donated 3 patterns, which we will be giving out to 3 winners. You can either contact them on Ravelry, or they will also email you the pattern if you're not on Ravelry. So that's awesome. And as well, she's so generous, she's also set up a discount code, which is going to be good till the end of November. So that's at least another month. You know, this is, I think it's the 26th today that I'm recording this. So all the way through midnight November 30th, if you use the discount code iheartKnitting, so that's all capitals, no spaces, you're going to get 40% off your pattern purchase from Samba Knits. So that's awesome. Just thank you so much, Beatrice. This is so generous and so wonderful. I'm really thrilled to have a few extra prizes to give away. And yes, that coupon code is just so generous. So please check out Samba Knits and check out their beautiful designs, and take advantage of a great sale and a really generous donation to the podcast. I noticed that the sweaters were size inclusive. The one I looked at was went up to about 65 inches, inclusive to 65 inches around. So that's wonderful. Thank you again, Beatrice. Really, really appreciate that. I have a lot of notes today, so I'm going to be looking down a lot, but just bear with me. I'm also going to say a lot, apparently. So, yes, Samba Knits, thank you, fantastic. The Halloween Cal, the hashtag you use is hashtag Halloween KAL 2020. That's going to be going until the end of the day, October 31st, Halloween night, and then I'll be drawing out of there. So you can feel free to use the hashtag afterwards, but after that October 31st deadline, you're not going to be entered into any prizes anymore. So that's really exciting. I have not finished mine yet. They're coming along, but I'm not quite there yet. Actually, I'll just show you where we're at with socks. We can do some work in progress while we're at it here. I have turned the heel on my second sock. I know last episode I showed you my finished sock, and so I'm plugging along. I will probably get these finished this week. I've been trying to work on this and as well on John's socks. So this is the Mojito colorway, and this is by the Fawn Knits, and it's a Stellina base. It's their Magpie base, which has gold Stellina. And then down here we have just Knit Picks Cobblestone Heather. That's their Stroll fingering, which I use a lot for contrast heels and toes. So yeah, really happy with those. They're coming along. You know, I won't talk about this too much because you've been seeing a lot of them, but that's my finished first sock. And next episode you should see a finished second sock too. So that's exciting. I've been also working on John's socks a little bit. John's socks are in here. This is just a patchwork bag I made for myself a few years ago. Sometimes I make bags like this for the shop, but not very often because they're really labor intensive. So yes, showed you this last time. Sock 1 is done. And then same thing, yeah, I worked my way down past the heel on sock 2 over the last 10 days or so, and hoping to get these finished soon. I have another pair that I want to start for John, and I really want to start those fluorite socks, which I was telling you about. So if I can get both of these done, then I'll feel better about starting something new. So yeah, I look forward to seeing those done. That stripy yarn there, which I just threw away, I'm not going to go grab again, is Double Shot by Scrumptious Pearl. And Scrumptious Pearl is a beautiful Canadian dyer out of Montreal. I was drooling over their shop the other day. They still have fantastic stuff. I have a microphone now, and I'm really hoping that my sipping is not going to be really loud. We'll see how that is when I listen back to the recording. My other work in progress, this is actually a new cast on, and I've only done like a teeny tiny bit, but I do want to show you because this is the first time I've done any brioche knitting, and I'm really excited. I am knitting the Harlow Hat by Andrea Mowry. It's a really simple, just 1x1 2-color brioche. And I did the cast on. Andrea has a really nice video on YouTube on how to do the 2-color, it's the 2-color German cast on, I believe it is. Twisted German, 2-color twisted German cast on. Either way, really good video, and the brioche is not complicated, but I think what I need to do is just concentrate a little more because I've already made a mistake. I wasn't really paying attention, and at some point I forgot to work those yarn overs for, you know, like 10 or 12 stitches. So I was going to just push through, but I think I'm going to restart because I think that the cast on will be better this time now that I've had some practice on the cast on, and I also think that my brioche will be better once I have a few rounds of practice in. So yeah, I just started this. It's like 4 rows in, but I can't do anything when I'm knitting on this. I have to like totally pay attention to what I'm doing, because if I just glance up for a minute, like my brain just goes back to the knitting I'm used to doing, which is usually like a ribbing or a slip stitch or something, and so I'm just not getting the brioche part right. But I would recommend this if you've never done brioche before. This is my first time really doing it. I think I tried it really briefly once a few years ago. So this is really just my first time. And it's not that difficult. Like I said, it's just relearning that rhythm because it's similar to what you'd be doing when you're knitting. But there's just a few extra little things that you have to remember to do, like the little yarn overs to keep, you know, to keep your two-sided work properly two-sided. I'm trying to show you, but it's really hard to see. There's just a few little errors. But yeah, I have, this is the Cobblestone Heather Knit Picks Stroll. I really love Knit Picks Heathers, especially, you know, like I love to get tonals and speckled things from indie dyers, and then, you know, most like indie dyers don't usually do heathers because heathers are blended colors, like blended in the wool. So yeah, anyways, I'm using that, which I've been using all over the place. And then this is leftovers from, I think I gave my mom this sock yarn and then she gave me back the leftovers. This is another, the Fawn and the Fox colorway, which is called Water Lilies. And yeah, the pattern said I only needed about 30 grams of each, and I think I have about 45 here. So yeah, like I said, it's not complicated. I just need a little practice, and I can already see myself getting better. So yeah, it'll get better. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm glad that I'm learning brioche. I love the look of the brioche, but I just haven't really had a chance to master it myself. So I'm really looking forward to doing a bit more of that in the future. Maybe, you know, some of those beautiful kind of lacy designs. I'm trying to think of who it is. I think it's Dank Fibre, who did the sorrel sweater. They're doing, I can't remember the name of it, but they have a new sweater out, and it has like a beautiful kind of brioche leaf design on the yoke, and I really like that. Really, really like that. Would love to try that in the future, but I'm just not there yet. So keep practicing. I'll keep doing my little hat. Maybe eventually I'll be ready to do to tackle something a little more intense like that. So yeah, and then the last thing that I've been working on a lot this week, I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. This is my City Limits sweater. I showed you this on the first episode. This is one of my works in progress that I haven't been working on too hard lately, but just pulled it back out once I finished the Soldatna. That's the back. This is the front. So this is the City Limits sweater. This is a pattern by Tannis Ravelry of Tannis Fibre Arts. I am choosing to do it on the reverse stockinette side. It has this false seam that goes all the way along. I've got a little stitch marker on there. That's from Sugar Tots, little narwhal. And most of this yarn is from Euphoria Knits, except for the top, which is Knit Pig Stroll in the Dove Heather. So yeah, if you're not familiar with this pattern, you take 2 strands of fingering weight yarn and hold them double to make kind of like a worsted weight gauge. And then you are switching out your yarns. So you start out with like the first color held double, and then you have one of the first color and one of the second color, and then it goes into all of the second color, and then it just continues down. So depending on how you choose your yarns, you can get a really beautiful fade out of this if you choose kind of like a tonal fade going down. What I've done is I was inspired by Megan from Pip and Pin, and she knit one back in the spring, and it was done in kind of more greens than to these blues, but just done in the same way where she was using tonals and stripes, so it made tonals and solids so that it made stripes. And I really liked that. I thought it was kind of nautical feeling and just a little different from the fades that I've been doing recently. I have a couple like, you know, nicely faded sweaters already, and I don't have anything with this kind of stripy detail. So I decided to order yarn from my friend Janessa of Euphoria Knits. So Janessa is out of Texas, and we chose 4 colors. I have one more to add here, and then I use the gray on the top. So we have the Dove Heather here, that's the Knit Pick Stroll Tweed and the Dove Heather. And then this is, I wrote all these down for me here. So then this nice blue here where I've faded, this is called Stillness. This is all on Janessa's Frenzy base, which is a really super soft, you know, 75% merino, 25% nylon sock yarn, and then holding it double. So Stillness. And then this is Etchery. And then I've just faded into another color here. That's called Knock. It's like a brighter blue. And the last color is called River Styx. And it's almost like a full, it's blowing out a little lighter here. It's a bit darker than that in real life. It's more like a charcoal gray, but it has some really beautiful tones in there. And I'm really excited about this sweater. It's coming along really well. It's a nice, easy knit. It's kind of mindless. You're knitting, you know, I'm knitting on the inside of it, if that makes sense. You know, I don't have to purl the whole time. I'm knitting, and then just have this little false seam detail on the sides. And I think because you're changing the colors out, I think every 17 rows or so, it just keeps you interested. You know, it's always kind of counting down to see when you can switch into your next color. So it's been really engaging. So it's a really nice pattern. I'm not sure what size I'm knitting on this one, but everything is up on my Ravelry page. If you're interested, it's probably the size, you know, medium. I generally knit to fit like a 36 to 38 inch bust. So this is probably the 40 inch size. That's what I would generally choose. And yeah, love it. So I'm getting into the 4th color. I have another one, and then I just have to match up all these colors again when I do the sleeve. And it looks like it looks like I changed mid color, you know, and took the sleeves off, which is good because then I'll have all one color here for the sleeve. Definitely recommend this pattern. Really nice pattern. It's well thought out. The false seam detail is nice. I really love the way the false seam hides all these increases as well, and then kind of makes what do you call it, makes like a design feature. So yeah. So that's basically all I've been working on this week. I didn't finish anything, and I didn't really start anything new other than that brioche pattern. And I didn't actually get anything in the mail either. I got a little bit of fabric, but nothing too exciting. I got some really nice kind of like pinky peach color with like a speckle on it for face masks, and then like a really cool mushroom print as well, which I made a couple face masks out of. And yeah, I think everything else I got fabric wise, like I made into the lavender sachets already. I got this really cool linen that just happens to be here, so maybe I'll show you that. Sorry, my camera's gonna bob for a minute now. This is the Essex Linen, which I use a lot. This is a Robert Kaufman brand linen fabric, but this one I love. It has this little slub in it. This is new, like I haven't seen this one before. It's the first time I ordered it. So I got one colorway just to see what it looked like in person. It's a really, really light peach, and it has the slubs of, you know, black and a bit of red. And I'm really excited to make this into a project bag. I think I'm definitely going to order more. So I got this from Studio 39 Fabrics. That's a fabric shop. I can't remember if they're in Alberta or on the prairies, but they're Canadian, and they're an amazing shop. They do very excellent pricing on their solids. They have a lot of Kona solids, and she also has beautiful embroidery stuff. What is the name of that company? Sublime Stitches. So beautiful embroidery floss and like some heat transfers. And yeah, Erica's just been expanding her shop a lot over the years, so I definitely recommend checking out Studio 39 Fabrics if you're a fabric person like me, or a stitcher as well, because the stitching is great. Really wanted to find a source for really nice quality embroidery thread that wasn't DMC brand, so I was very happy when she brought that to the shop. Yeah, so that was pretty much everything that came in the mail this week. And because I didn't have a lot of, you know, finished objects or acquisitions or things to talk about, what I wanted to talk about was actually how I learned to knit, and wanted to talk about my sweater a little bit that I'm wearing. I had a comment from a viewer, and they wanted to know, when I learned how to knit, and, you know, they were wondering whether I was knitting from patterns or how long it took me to kind of be comfortable working with patterns, and what my first project was. So yeah, I thought this was a really great idea, and so I just said to the person who commented, I said, I'm going to answer your question on the podcast because this is great. I know everyone's really interested in finding out like how, you know, you may have learned to do things or started. So let me know when you learned to knit down below. If you want to leave a comment, let me know who taught you how to knit, or how old were you when you learned, or if, like me, you know, if you learned kind of twice in your life. So what happened with me is, you know, both my grandmothers knit on and off, and my mom knit as well a little bit when I was a kid. And so I picked it up, and I kind of had learned how to knit when I was a kid, but never really progressed very far with it. Didn't really learn how to follow patterns or anything. I was mostly just like knitting squares, you know, like making a blanket for your doll or something like that. So I kind of learned to knit when I was a kid, but really I never really got very into it. I was crafty, but into other things at the time. So then as I got older, you know, you kind of leave behind some of those crafts. Like when you're in your 20s and in college, you're not really making friendship bracelets, you know, obsessively like I did when I was a kid. So yeah, you know, I think what happened is as I got older, I was losing some of those creative outlets. And, you know, I did art class in high school and photography class in high school and things like that. But yeah, so I was really missing that creative outlet. And so I think I was in my early 20s. It was like around 2007 that I learned how to knit. So it's been 13 years. And what happened is, funnily enough, I was living in Ontario at the time, and my mom and dad went they came out west here to visit my aunt and uncle. So I have an aunt and uncle who live here really close to me. So anyway, so I hadn't been to BC yet, or hadn't moved to BC yet. And my aunt here is a big knitter, big crafter, amazing, like fantastic Fair Isle stuff, just gorgeous. So my mom was here visiting my aunt, and she got interested in knitting again. My aunt set her up with needles while they were on a road trip. My mom started a pair of socks. And then I went to visit my mom in, when she got back to Ontario, I went to have a visit with her, and she was knitting, and I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And she had that, the self-striping yarn, which I had never seen before, that was patterning itself. And I was just so interested. So we went down to probably Michael's or something, and I got a really, really giant ball of like denim blue acrylic yarn, and I made this big scarf for John. So it's a big garter stitch scarf, where I probably had like 30 or 40 stitches on the needle, and I made him this huge scarf, and like it started out one size, and then by the end I had added a whole bunch of stitches. It was just hilarious. I don't know if I still have it anymore. I did keep it for the longest time. And eventually I was like, I'm only saving this because it's funny that it's, it's only that it's my first project. And yeah, I'll never forget that project, even if I get rid of it. So I think I gave it away to someone or something, but so that was my first project. And like everybody has that first project that's a little wonky, and you get better as you progress and as you practice. And now it's so funny to look at that, and I roll my eyes at my old projects, but I was so proud of myself then. I didn't have any context for being able to do any better. So anyways, I just thought it was the best. So I knit this scarf, and then I just got hooked on knitting. This is 2007, so there were a lot of knitting blogs. So I got really into reading the yarn harlot, Stephanie Pearl McPhee, who I believe still is blogging and is such an amazing writer, another Canadian woman. Really appreciate like just her candor, and she's just an awesome person. I would love to meet her one day. So I started reading the yarn harlot, and I found Ravelry, but never really used it to much of any other than like a pattern browser. And at some point, very early in my knitting career, like maybe 6 months in, I knit this sweater. So this is the Central Park Hoodie pattern, and I don't know the designer. I might have been from a Vogue knitting. So you can see it has the hood, it has the cable going around, and cable's here. Cable goes up onto the hood as well. I'll just show you the hood has kind of like a pointed design, so it goes a little up at the back. And I have loved this sweater always. This is probably been knit in 2008, so this is probably 12 years old now. It was the first big thing I knit. It was the first thing I knit in really beautiful yarn. I got the idea to knit this sweater from the Yarn Harlot blog, actually. And I believe that Stephanie also gave me the idea of adding this crochet reinforcement, which probably really helped this garment survive. When you don't have a seam here and you put your hood on, it can create a lot of weird tension between the garment. So that was like a little reinforcing thing. And I think that's how I discovered the pattern. I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's so beautiful. So I picked out this yarn. This is Tacky Yarns, Donegal Tweed. There are a few, is it on this side? There is a mistake or two. Yeah, there it is. I have one wobbly cable in here and I love it. I didn't notice it until I was way further along and I never fixed it. And now I love it. It's just this one little mistake. So sorry, I'm totally rambling. Obviously, I'm really excited to tell you about this. So this is the Central Park Hoodie. And this is Tacky Yarns Donegal Tweed. And as I said, 12 years old. This yarn is amazing. It is not for everybody. It is woolly and natural, and it is a single ply spun, but it has worn so amazingly well. This sweater has been repaired several times. I have completely worn out the cuffs because I was wearing it to work all the time, and I would just continually wear this. So I've actually taken these cuffs off and re-knit them and repaired them multiple times as well. I think since I've re-knit them, I've repaired them again. And just a few other repairs here and there, but all in all, you would not know that this sweater was 12 years old, that I'd been wearing it heavily, like every winter for 12 years. So that's really a testament to, you know, the quality of the wool that you're getting when you're sourcing it from, you know, your own source like that, and just the general quality that you're going to get of a handmade item. This is timeless for me. It's never going to go in or out of style. I didn't put any, I don't even think I put any buttonholes in here. Nope. I didn't put any buttons on. I've never wanted to button it up. So it's always just been a beautiful open sweater. But yeah, I love it. It's, you know, almost vintage now. And yeah, so really exciting for me to be able to show you something that I knit 12 years ago that's still like in great shape like this. So yeah, so I think that's it about this. What was my first project? And oh, how long did it take me to get comfortable with patterns? So I think it does take a while to get comfortable with patterns. I think the important thing to do is to like try and learn a new skill every time, you know, every few patterns. Try and find just one new skill, something small that you can build on. So, you know, if you've done something garter stitch to start with, then learn how to purl. And then maybe once you've learned how to, you know, knit a whole row and purl and do stockinette, then do something with a little bit of textured pattern in it, you know, like a seed stitch or something, you know. And so then if you're building a little bit every time, you know, and then you shape something and you do some increases and decreases, you know, I think it comes over time. But yeah, having the internet was amazingly helpful. And compared to when I was learning in 2007, I don't think YouTube was even a thing. Like there weren't really videos. I think there's just even more now. So I'm left-handed as well. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on the podcast. I knit left-handed. You may have noticed that yourself when you look at photos that my knitting kind of looks sort of backwards. But yeah, having all the resources for left-handers now is great too, because yeah, I have always found that difficult trying to flip instructions around. There's been multiple times where I've taught myself the wrong way to do something because I watched a tutorial and didn't reverse it properly in my head, and then had to go back and reteach myself how to do something, you know, years later. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm not doing this right because I didn't reverse it properly in my head. But anyways, yeah, so I would definitely recommend switching up your patterns and trying something new every time, and just slowly build on those skills, and they will come. And you'll be amazed, you know, over the years how your knitting progresses. And if you're anything like me, you'll just find new things to get excited about. New techniques, new yarns, things like that. So, yeah. So I also just wanted to do a quick show and tell. So I know I showed you the bucket bags last time. Those are in the shop. I'm just looking. I think there might be 3 or 4 of those left from the last update. That was on Friday. And so lavender sachets have now been restocked as well. You can find those in the shop. And I'm working on a big face mask restock. And then after that, I think it'll be about a week or so before I get my Christmas bags into the shop. I told you about that. We're doing Christmas soon. Canada Post is already warning people about wait time. So if you are looking for a Christmas bag or a Christmas present, I would definitely recommend getting your orders in early. I generally put a lot in the shop for the month of November, and you know, I would definitely recommend getting your order in if you can. But what I wanted to show you today is my small size bag, which is like the sock size. So this is, I have two designs in the sock size. So this is the one size, which is the rectangular, and it is great for side-by-side knitting. You know, you can have your two balls of yarn side by side if you're doing your socks two at a time. This is probably my favorite print in the shop right now. It's pretty girly, but I really love it. And then I've got this metallic inside, and that's like another one that's in the shop. So I have a ton of these. They're my favorite for socks, and they're really decent size, you know, bit of a box bottom, so they'll fit two little cakes of yarn side by side, or one cake of yarn and then your work in progress. And then the other sock size that I do is the square sock size. So I added some new ones into the shop this week, and then there's a couple that have already been in there. So I had this beautiful butterfly print. There's only one of these left. It has the linen on the back. This one has a pocket inside too. And most of them don't. I will tell you on the listing if they do, but when they're a little special like this, sometimes I like to throw a pocket on there. There's this really nice kind of feather design. And then for this week, what I added into the shop, there's this Rifle Paper Company floral, and yeah, just a white and green on the inside. This is another Rifle Paper Company. And yeah, so these are the same volume as the rectangular sock size I was showing you, but they are just a different shape. They're square instead of rectangular. So it just depends. I know people have a preference often, and it depends on how they like to use their project bags and how they like to work out of them. So this is just another option. And this is the last of a lot of these fabrics. So I just found a little scrap of this ball of yarn print. Super cute, and it was just enough to make a bag. And then I've got this really nice bright color inside. Yeah, so you can find all of these in the shop right now. And oh, my discount code. So I told you at the beginning I was going to give you a code. So as a big thank you for 2,000 subscribers and just for all your support, I wanted to put a coupon code into the shop. So for the next 2 weeks, I'll have a probably deadline of the 14th of November or something like that. I'm going to have a coupon code. It is iheartknitting, all one word, all caps, just like the Samba Knits coupon code. And that's going to get you 10% off your order. So that's just a little thank you for you lovely people who have been watching and commenting and encouraging me. And yeah, so if you've watched this far, then now you have the coupon code. You can go shop. So yeah, just a big thank you for your support. I am just blown away by your positivity and your support, and I hope I can just continue to keep making beautiful things for you all. And it really brings me a lot of joy that this is my job now and that this is what I get to do. And I just want to thank you for helping, you know, make that a reality for me. So yes, I think that's all I have to talk about today. I'm losing a bit of light here, so I'm gonna probably say goodbye. But yeah, again, just thank you so much, everybody, for joining me again. I really am looking forward to recording and really enjoying making things and working on new projects, and knowing that I get to share them with you is really, really great. So yeah, I hope you all have just a wonderful week or 10 days until I see you next. I hope you're all staying safe and happy and just doing your best with, you know, the world and whatever is being thrown at you these days, because I know, you know, it's not always easy. So thank you for joining me in my little corner here, and thank you for being so positive. It really uplifts me. And yeah, I will be back again soon. I might post a little vlog at some point. If not, you'll see me in about 10 days with a new episode. So take care until then. Bye.